Alright, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today, I am going to be doing a video on the event known as Treasures of the Damned. Now, as you can see, I'm already at an event here. I've already gone in, and I've confirmed it is Treasures of the Damned. So, what do you need to know about Treasures of the Damned? Well, first of all, it is the hardest content currently in the game. This is as of version 1.07b. Um, so this is right before Dungeons come out. We've been waiting forever for Dungeons, and they're still not out yet. But they've got to be close, right? They've got to be close. Game just came out on iOS. Dungeons have to be soon. They already teased us with some stuff from it's going to be version 1.1.0, or I guess essentially 1.1. But yeah, Treasures of the Damned. It is an event that unlocks once you hit level 25, and the basic gist of it is you go in, and I'm gonna basically say what it is before I go in. You go in there. There's a chest in the middle, and you investigate it, and it says it's locked. And it's actually a merchant's chest. And it's locked, so you need the key, obviously. Well, once you investigate it, a wave of enemies will spawn shortly after. And basically, you just have to kill all those enemies, but then, of course, more waves start to spawn. And eventually, you get to the end, and there is a cursed merchant that you have to kill. And, of course, being the owner of the chest, he has the key that you need to unlock it. And you get all kinds of goodies. So, it's the hardest content in the game, mainly because you have to take on roughly. Ooh, how many enemies are there? Probably. I want to say close to 30 or 35 enemies. And the last few waves actually spawn knights, so you have to deal with multiple knights at once, kind of. So, yeah, you have to deal with a lot of enemies in a very short amount of time, essentially. Which makes it a little bit tricky to do if you don't know what you're doing. So, this is more or less what I bring into this event. I start off with tier 1 armor, and it just so happens that I have some tier 1 armor that is close to breaking, so that will work out wonderfully for me. I generally bring 2 one-handed swords. In this case, I have one that's at like a third of its durability, so I brought one at 2/3 and one at full. This will probably be a little overkill on that, but eh. I bring along 2 cart fills. I happen to have another one that's almost broken, so I figured I'd just bring that anyway. And I have a scimitar here, which we will not be using for the knights. At least I don't plan on it. That is actually going to be meant for the cursed merchant. Now, I also have some tier 3 armor here, the copper armor. And you might be wondering, well, why do you have that when you're already wearing armor? Well, for one, this armor is going to break before I finish the event. And also, knights hit kind of hard. They have 49 attack, and with this tier 1 armor on, they're going to hit me for like, I think, 34, 37, something like that. So essentially, they can 3-shot me, and if there's 3 of them on the map, or if there's 3 of them all in one little cluster, they could potentially 1-shot me anyway. So, once the knights start spawning, I'm going to want to switch to tier 3 armor, just so I have a little more breathing room, in terms of getting ganged up on. We want to try and take them out as quickly as possible so they can't gang up on you, and also I am going to be showing you a tactic that will hopefully eliminate as much of that problem as possible, having enemies gang up on you, that is. So, hopefully all goes well. This event has a lot of enemies on screen, so it has a tendency to cause lag for me, and then recording can kind of make lag worse, so hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah, and then food-wise, 20 jerky's fine. Normally I would bring some berry juice, but I had fried leeks, so they'll work just as fine. So yeah, let's go ahead and get in here, and I'll show you what's up. And also, you can tell it's nighttime for me. However, my friend Hax on Discord, he actually mentioned to me a while ago well, like a week ago or something like that, that during the Treasures of the Damned event, as well as the Gatekeeper, if you're over at the Gatekeeper's hut, the Night Guest actually will not spawn in either of those places. No matter whether it's nighttime or not, the Night Guest will not spawn here. But as you can see, this is, it's an interesting map. So the Treasures of the Damned it's very obvious when you have this event. It's very obvious. Because there are no enemies anywhere to be found. None. Now we do have to kind of take stock here of the layout of the map. So this right here could be a little bit of a problem. It causes a little bit of a blockage. But you want to check out the edges of the map, because the tactic that I'm going to be showing you is essentially the lap running tactic, as I like to call it, where in order to avoid a lot of the enemies, we're going to be running laps. Now, when I go up to this chest and I investigate it, what's going to happen is a wave of enemies are going to spawn. Now, these enemies will spawn along the edges of the map. So, the worst place that you could be when that happens is like right here, in between that chest and this tent, where you can get enemies coming from the right, enemies coming from the left, and down here, and then all of a sudden, you're kind of surrounded, and you have to just force your way through a whole bunch of enemies just to get out of there. So that's a bad place to be. So when these waves start, you really want to be on the edges of the map. Now, you don't really want to be in the corner, because if you're in the corner here and something's coming from up above or down below and to the left, you kind of don't have anywhere to go. So I always recommend being on the edge right here, more or less. That way, you know, enemies are going to come from everywhere, but the main thing that we're going to exploit is the fact that there are multiple different types of enemies with different speeds. So the fastest enemies will reach you relatively quickly, and you're going to want to kill them as quickly as possible, but the slower enemies, mainly the lepers, you can kind of ignore them for the vast majority of the event. And actually, that's what these Cartthills are for. Once you've killed the Knights and the Cursed Merchant and all of that, I use the Cartthill to just wipe out, just clean up all the lepers, and then you can claim your loot. So, yeah, that's generally the tactics that I'm going to be using. So, let's go ahead and see if I can successfully employ them. Treasure of the Damned. Take the key from the Cursed Merchant to open the chest. So, I'm going to head down here. It's a nice, wide open area. And we got a couple of enemies. They all spawn on the left side. And my stutter step is meh. So we generally don't want to be fighting multiple enemies at once. Oof. Yeah, they're all kind of clustered up already. So I'm just going to leave them alone. I'm going to wait for the next wave of enemies to spawn. Stop. Rest a little. Yeah, no. There is no stopping. Not in this event. No. You stop, you will die. Okay, so yeah, this is where we take advantage of enemies having different speeds. Separate faster enemies? Oh, my armor is broken already. Well. Oh boy. That is getting a little nasty. Alright, this'll do. Yeah. Okay, so this is the third wave of enemies. And about here, that things start getting a little tricky. Oh, there's the knight. Okay, I was waiting for you. I was wondering when you were going to pop up. Let me run all the way over here. He's a little bit faster than the lepers, so I can count on him, and I'm going to move my leeks over so I don't die of dehydration here. And my hope... Well, I would hope to kill him before I have to deal with these damned and whatnot, but... got him down to half health, which isn't bad. So now at this point, I don't have long before the Cursed Merchant spawns. So I'm just going to go ahead and equip my Scimitar preemptively. Yeah, there's the other knight. So we have to deal with 2 knights now, and they're like right next to each other, which is kind of a pain. Not going to be easy. And I also cannot stress anymore, do not loot these bodies in the middle of this event. No, that's a really bad idea. Now the Cursed Merchant should be spawning here, and you'll notice he is the same speed as I am. Actually, he's faster than I am. And he's heavily armored, which is why I brought a Scimitar. You can certainly try to fight him with normal enemies, or normal weapons, but you're just, I mean, that Morning Star isn't terribly powerful, but it's powerful enough that if you have to hit him 5 billion times, then it's gonna hurt after a while. Okay, so now the enemies are done spawning. So now at this point, essentially what I need to do is I need to kite this giant ball of lepers around. I need to kill the knights. Okay, so we're just going to employ these kind of very short hit and run tactics. So that's 1 knight down. And the key to this event really is just be patient. You know, don't rush anything. Don't get yourself into really bad situations. Okay, we're gonna put my jerky back on there. Launch on that. Because I didn't want to take that second hit, but oh well. Alright, and now, well, it did. So now, I don't even need healing items at this point. We're just going to go ahead and put my cart thills in, and we're going to start whacking away at lepers. And the idea here is hit them. Now, ideally, you would have a ranged weapon like a pitchfork for this, because that would give you 25 damage, and you'd be able to 2-shot these guys. As you can see, the cart thill leaves just a little bit of health left on them, so you have to re-hit them. And with the cart thill only having a durability of 42, that means you can kill 14 lepers with a single cart thill. And there's just a little bit over that left over, I would imagine. Oh, one of them actually managed to hit me. Good for you, leper. Good for you. Yeah, they're all kind of bunched up, so you can't really see how many lepers there are, but there are a lot of lepers in this little pile, trust me. You do not want to go toe-to-toe to these guys with a one-handed sword or something like that. It's just gonna be awful, so don't do it. Unfortunately, I got a little lag there. And here's my second cart thill. Alright, and that is all of the lepers killed. So, yeah. If you go back to the beginning of the video and then look at everything there, and then look at what I've got here, you can see how much I used up. It looks like I used all my leeks and about half of my stack of jerky, so that's about 1 full stack of food. I used that very weak one-handed sword as well as this one, which was at 2/3, I believe. So about a full one-handed sword, maybe a little bit less. And the scimitar, I only used 11 hits of it, which the scimitar has the same durability as the one-handed sword, actually, 72 hits. So you could use the same, if you had a full durability scimitar, you could get six of these events out of it. And as you can see, my armor did take a little bit of a beating. But now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to go ahead and run around, collect the loot from all the bodies, because I might as well. And you could also you could bring a pickaxe and an axe with you here, and you could like preemptively clear the entire area. Just take down all the trees, all the rocks, and everything. That way you wouldn't have any. Oh, what was that? What was that scroll? No, just history of the trees, and I'm already done with those. But you could preemptively take out all of the obstacles so that you don't have to worry about, you know, oh, I got a little bit of a lag spike, and now all of a sudden I'm caught on a tree or a rock, and I'm pinned in between that and all of the enemies. Because that could be a really bad situation if you get some lag off of that. That's probably Exile, yeah. But that can be a really bad situation. So if you do suffer from lag on a regular basis, then I would highly recommend doing that. And also the Curse Merchant, he will always drop this Morning Star for you. So you at least get a weapon out of it. And generally, what you get out of this chest, you'll get an item that is exclusive to this event called the Stealth Potion. Generally, you get 2 or 3 weapons and then some very good items in there as well, like a full stack of leather or like thick cloth or something like that. So let's go ahead and see what I got out of this. As you can see, it takes a long time to open, so do not think that you could just kill the merchant, grab his stuff, and then kite everybody to the edge of the map and open this in the middle without having to kill everything. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. It takes too long to open. And of course, if you get hit in the middle of trying to open it, it resets all your progress. So you have to waste all that time again. If it was a normal-sized map, if this was a normal-sized map, it would probably be... Let me see. Yeah, this looks like, to me, almost like a third of a normal-sized map. If it was a normal-sized map, you could absolutely kite them to a corner and then run around and do this, but unfortunately it's not. So, I got 2 stealth potions, which is pretty nice. A nearly full durability bastard sword, I will take that. Another Morning Star that's also at near full durability. Almost a full stack of leather, I'm happy about that. 6 chains, those are nice. I can go ahead and turn those into halberds. Some tin, some cloth. Actually, I'll just go ahead and leave that there. I got a full stack from all the enemies in that. Cartwheels. I have a bunch of cartwheels at home, and they really don't take much to build, so I'm kind of inclined to leave those here. Copper ingots are always nice. Stone blocks. Let me see. Every stone block is 2 limestone. So this is essentially almost a full stack of limestone. I'll go ahead and put that there. I only got 1 animal hide off that, unfortunately. So, I guess that's more or less it. I suppose I'll take the tin comb. I don't need those weak seeds. I can trade the tin comb for more tin ore. It would be great for bronze. And then, skull. What is the skull trait for? I can't remember what the skull trait is for, but I don't ever use it for anything. So I don't imagine it's too important. It might be like bitter tinctures. I don't like those as healing items. Some people do, but I'm not a fan. So, but then again, I already have a bunch of candles, so we'll just go with that. So yeah, that was the Treasure of the Damned event, guys. It's a little bit tricky. The first time you do it, it can be pretty overwhelming. But once you've done it a couple of times, you kind of figure out what you need to do. It's just running laps, kiting enemies around, taking advantage of the fact that some enemies are slower than others. You'll kill the fast ones first, and then, you know, you can just kill the stragglers afterwards. So hopefully that this video will help you guys out with doing the Treasure of the Damned. It's not too hard, but that's still the hardest content in the game. The Gatekeeper, which I just did a video for, he's not quite as hard. He takes a similar amount of stuff to beat, mainly because he spawns Plague Wolves infinitely. But, yeah, he's not as hard as this Treasure of the Damned event. And I'm not entirely sure why they let you do the Treasure of the Damned event once you hit level 25. Because in my opinion, someone who just hit level 25 is not even close to ready for this event. I would not even advise doing that event until you are comfortable doing tier 3 runs for night caches, either in the stone zone or the wood zone over here, and you've done numerous night cache runs and you've been successful numerous times. Then at that point you should be used to dealing with multiple enemies attacking you at the same time, having to kite enemies around, all of that stuff. So yeah, I hope you found this video to be helpful. Hope you enjoyed it as well. And I will see you on the next video I do, guys. Till then, take care.